You're too late, Vindicator. The contact has already returned to Dazra. And your handler, Kisrani, will die by their hand. They are one who has Jinan's ideals in mind. To make House Varun the might of the settled systems. Only by uniting with House Malin is this possible. Because they are weak and unworthy. For years they cowered in their holes, leaving us to fight the war that Jinan began. We have dispatched our people to Dazra. The contact has agreed to smuggle them in and kill the one named Kisrani Dulkaf. Your journey, however, ends here. You are formidable, but you are not immortal. And now, with this serpent as our witness, you will perish here!
Ah! Our roving research assistant returns. I know we've asked you to travel far and wide. Hopefully it wasn't too much trouble. Good! It seems that things have been going smoothly so far. Perhaps it's a sign that the Great Serpent favors our work. Your supposition about the plants becoming toxic might just bear fruit. Far from it, I'm afraid. Even if there were, we'd be treating the symptom without addressing the cause. Oh, I very much doubt anyone is. There'd be no reason to do so. We depend on these creatures in more ways than one. Also, the incidents are widespread and affecting multiple species. No, I'm convinced this is not the hand of man. I'm afraid so. Needless to say, the urgency of our work has increased somewhat. The evidence suggests that some force is acting on the ecosystem, changing it somehow. We don't yet have the complete picture, but there is one tool left to us. Would you care to explain, my dear?
With pleasure. To aid in our monitoring of local conditions, we designed a multi-function sensor suite. The device records data for weather, atmospheric pressure, radiation,
Airborne particulates, seismic disturbances, gravitic fluctuations.
We placed several of these sensors throughout the area. Each device can upload its data to a slate for comparison and analysis. There are 4 sensor devices currently deployed in the field. We spread them out to cover the widest possible area. It's just a collection of devices fused together and running on a single power source. It's more a feat of improvisation than engineering, really. Here, take this. Transfer the data from each of the sensors and then bring the slate back to me. In the meantime, we'll see what we can learn about these unusual plant specimens. We'll solve this riddle yet.
You're back. Did you uncover anything at Jandar's Rest? Mujin, does this mean he's the supply thief? Are you sure? Then I may be walking into an ambush, seeing as Mujin's the one who organized this meeting and supplied my security detail. The meeting takes place inside the Halls of Obedience. Will you watch my back? I want to avoid innocents being caught in the crossfire. If this is what I think it is, then let's be extra cautious. I don't know if we have enough evidence. If we're the aggressors here, it may be harder to prove. Let's wait for them to make the first move. I'm well aware and brought a weapon, but I'm still counting on you to be my dagger in the dark. Jinan, bless you. I would not have survived that if you hadn't been here. That is kind of you to say. Your benevolence continues to surprise me. In any case, now is not the time to dawdle. Our next move must be to arrest Mujin. He's a prominent member of another noble house. I'm slightly concerned about the optics of this. Some may say we are trying to shift the balance of power, and so to move forward, our evidence must be ironclad. No, it's safer in your hands, and when it comes time for the trial, I want you to deliver it. You're the only impartial person involved in this case. And besides, you did the legwork. You deserve the honor of submitting it. I am of House Dulkef. We are meticulous to a fault. Before we move in, I want to make sure we have opened every closet, looked into every crack. Thank you. This assassin's attempt will help our case, but we still need evidence tying him to Mujin. If you have time, check his office. There may be information connecting him to this individual. Yes, as a matter of fact, the bodies of the assassins. They may offer more clues. I'll have security look them over also, but if their ranks have been infiltrated, I'd rather you inspect them first. Good. Our case must be ironclad given whom we are accusing. Regardless, he must answer for aiding the Zealots and the murder of my cousin. Give me until the coming dawn and I will summon the relevant parties to my office. Mark my words. We will bring him to justice with all three noble houses as witness.
Come in, come in. By the Great Serpent, no. Please don't tell me. Oh, no, no. My poor Qasim, no. That stupid fool and his crusading ways. I knew it would get him into trouble, but I never thought it would get this far. How am I ever going to continue without him? He was all I had left. Yes. Yes, you're right. If nothing else, I have to move forward for Qasim, my parents, and myself. Listen, I wanted to thank you for everything you've done. You risked your life to bring me closure. It's something I'll never forget. I can't offer you much, but I can assure you that my wares will cost you less than before. I hope that's enough. Thank you, traveler. May the Great Serpent guide you on your path.
I am old and my eyesight is not what it used to be, but I know the face of success when I see it. Your lead from House Dulkef paid off. I did not, but it does not surprise me. So many projects over the decades. So many secrets. So few successes. I have heard of such a thing. Recently, in fact, just before the accident. That is apparently not a coincidence. We do not need it for the device, but if this accounts for some of the leaps in progress in the Citadel, you may wish to hold on to it. As much as I have devoted my life to science, one cannot deny that there is an occasional spark of the divine. The Great Serpent has use for this, and you, still to come. Your timing is excellent, in fact. I believe we are ready to proceed.
Beam on target.
Compensating for recoil.
It is working! Steady!
Attempting to stabilize. Detecting graviton flux.
Fluctuations in the grav field.
Hold! Hold! We cannot fail the speaker now!
Rerouting power.
Burning out.
Enough! Shut it down!
Cutting power.
I was not certain this would work, but it seems the Serpent has blessed us.
You have always lacked faith, Dulkef.
One could argue that faith got us into this mess in the first place.
Enough! It is time for action, not bickering.
Agreed. We must secure the Citadel. Send in everyone.
Are you mad? We have no idea how stable this is. No idea what is happening inside. You saw yourself. We barely had a plan for the device. We are lucky to have made it this far.
Time is a luxury we do not have. Committing a large force is impossible. There have been reports of increased zealot activity, no doubt in response to what we have been doing here.
It would be unwise to leave Dazra even more vulnerable than it already is.
And, to be candid, we have no idea what will happen to anyone entering the Citadel. We must minimize the potential risk. I thought perhaps it was obvious where this leads. It is only fitting that it should be you.
Really? I do not doubt our newest member's conviction, but...
What else can we do? He is the only one who can communicate with Anasco. Save as much as you can. Save it all, if possible, but the Speaker must be your priority. Do whatever it takes to bring Anasco back to us. I do not believe we have come this far only to fail now. You must believe that as well. I pray it will be so. May the Serpent guide you on your path.
Saving House Varun wasn't on my to-do list today, but screw it. Let's go be heroes.
We will speak again soon, I hope.
You've been busy, Vindicator. Of course. You've managed to piece together this case at a pace I did not anticipate. That is a credit to you as an investigator. But before you proceed into that room, I must ask, do you have the proof you need? Is it solid? Yes. My intel says you came back with a slate in hand. I imagine the contents of which are incriminating. So let us speak frankly for a moment, if we may. I've been thinking about the events of the past few days, and I have some thoughts. The speed at which things have unraveled, it makes me wonder how much of this outcome has been orchestrated. Of course, I am not denying my role in all this. Yes, I approved to have the supplies rerouted. And yes, I ordered that they be directed to the Zealots. But the murders, the violence, these were not directives I had ordered. If I am guilty of anything, it's being a rubber stamp. Because we are all in need. Everyone was affected by the accident, including the people here. And if we are to reintegrate House Malene, we need to show them our aid isn't contingent on our abundance. How would it look if the moment our supplies had diminished, we kept them all for ourselves? No. I have kept my actions separated from both Razma and Jimal. My goal was to inform them once I had something more concrete. That all went out the door once Ukadu Kef caught wind of the missing shipments. I offered to provide her a security detail, but I had arranged the assignment through my ward Okim. In fact, even my work with the Zealots was all done through him. I admit that I was presented an opportunity and took advantage of it. A handful of supply shipments are a meager exchange for an entire clan of allies. Earlier when we spoke, you told me the cycle of violence cannot be broken. But the war with the settled systems was never meant to end, which means we have no differences with the so-called Zealots. United with House Malene, we can rebuild Dazra as the industrial and military force it was during the Serpent's Crusade. Which is why I ask that you listen to my proposal. Let me go. Allow me to continue my efforts discreetly for the betterment of House Varun. You disappoint me, convert. Why should I willingly confess and ensure my death I'd much rather argue my case in front of my peers.
Yeah, good luck with that one, buddy.
I don't know what evidence you've gathered, but without anything concrete, it's your word against mine. We shall see which one carries more weight.
I think we can all agree that the charges for this crime are quite serious. Theft of supplies, aiding the zealots, and the murder of my cousin. Which is why it comes with great shock that evidence points to a member of House Kadik as the thief.
Based on what evidence? House Kadik does not deal in trade. Your house does.
I would not be making this claim without sufficient cause, nor is House Dulkef the bearer of this information. Vindicator, the floor is yours. The slate lists you by name, Envoy. What do you have to say for yourself?
Is this what you called me to your office for, Kisrani? This is an absolute disgrace to your department.
You haven't answered my question, Mujin.
Nor should I have to. A single slate, which I might add is likely fabricated, is not enough to prove anything.
Is that so, Mujin? Or do you deny the words you yourself wrote?
I absolutely deny it. My computer has obviously been tampered with. This is clearly not enough evidence to even consider me a suspect.
Oh, you didn't know. We have piles of evidence, ship departure records, signatures, the works. And of course the kicker, Kisrani's would-be assassin.
Security has identified him as Okim Kadik.
Well, that's your ward, Mujin.
In fact, if I were you, Envoy, I would think long and hard about submitting to the Guard peacefully. Given the severity of your crimes, the Captain has the authority to do it by force.
I will cooperate, but this is by no means an admission. And make no mistake, the three of you will pay for this insult.
Make all the threats you want, Envoy. My decision is made. Guard, take him away.
As you command, Executor.
I appreciate you backing me up on this one. Warden Vithal had brought some evidence linking Mujin to the crime, but it's your evidence that makes me feel confident we can convict. All told, I'm extremely grateful. Ukaru was family, and I would not have been able to rest if I knew the thief had not been brought to justice. The guard will move him to lockup. You can visit him if you like, so long as he cooperates. A grim reality is, it's unlikely he will be there long. Aiding the Zealots is a crime punishable by death. There are typically no exceptions. Add to that the murder of a state official and, well, he'll be lucky if his death is swift. It's a well-known secret that Mujin was not a popular member of House Kadik. I suspect he may have operated independently, and Elder Razma will likely deny any involvement. My thanks are yours. You had no personal stake in solving my cousin's murder, yet you did so with diligence and aplomb. For that, you will be well rewarded.
I've also handed over everything we have at House Vithal regarding the case. Who knows what other crimes we can uncover while poring over the evidence.
I'll take this up with the captain of the guard. After that, our part in all of this is done. Jinan grace you for taking on this investigation. You've done a great service for House Varun and for Dazra. And on a personal note, I want to extend my gratitude for avenging my cousin's murder. With the accident and all that's going on, I haven't really had time to grieve, but closing this case might help me start that process. So for that, I thank you.
Excellent work on this case. A good lead is like a puff of smoke. Hard to miss, but wait too long and it's gone. But you never hesitated. My thoughts are that we got our man, but that the work isn't over. we will need to take a close examination of House Kadig's personnel until we have rooted out every last traitor in our city.
Must say I'm surprised you are still here. If I were in your shoes, I would have turned heel and ran as far away from this place as I could. All that was good in Dasra is dead and gone. We appreciate it, but some of us have lost too much already. I'm not talking about buildings or plazas or temples or offices. I'm talking about people, like my wife, that are no longer here. Dead and gone. No amount of your help will bring them back. Unless you can find a way for me to trade places with my wife? No. That is selfish, I know. But I would give anything to trade places. What can I say about my Mira? She was always talking. She could go on and on about anything. A book she read, a dream she had, a future together. She had a low, soft voice. But the world is so much quieter without it. And Great Serpent, she was beautiful as the stars. She was self-conscious, though, but she had no reason to be. She would cry about her appearance at times. Who doesn't? And it would break my heart, because she was perfect to me. Some of her sensitivity must have rubbed off on me, because I cried a lot when we were together. I felt like I could be open, vulnerable. I never felt that way with anyone else. And she would just come to me and put her forehead to mine. She was... she was... Oh, good. I think I may take some time for myself now.
Do not waste breath and time talking to us. Find Anasco. We are well aware of how we are perceived by people outside House Varun, what they might inflict upon us, given the chance. So, our survival has required a great deal of effort and planning. Grav jump coordinates are a closely guarded secret, known only to a few. And our agents have infiltrated every government of the settled systems. Data is carefully and quietly scrubbed from their maps. Those who manage to find their way here rarely leave. Were the circumstances different, you would have learned for yourself.
Oh, welcome back. Time to see if our sensors can peel back another layer of the mystery. Did you notice anything unusual in the environmental data? How interesting and unexpected. Some kind of distortion in space-time, maybe? I'll take that slate. Thank you. Now, let's see what tale the data tells. Mostly as expected so far. Oh my, look at this. Yes, I see what you mean. I concur with your hypothesis, even if I don't entirely comprehend it. An astute question. However, I think the answer is no. The readings indicate very subtle shifts that could have gone completely unnoticed. At worst, there might have been a moment of dizziness or a sense of events being a bit earlier or later than expected. Those are hardly uncommon occurrences for most people. For one sensor, perhaps. For all four? No, it's not possible. As unusual as the readings are, they're accurate. A rudimentary summation, perhaps, but not without merit. Your payment as promised. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what we've learned from the plant tissue samples you brought back. Why, yes, that's correct. I must say, it's a real pleasure to work with someone as intelligent and well-informed as you. Notably, the first sightings of these toxic variants coincide with the incident in Dazra. I'm just not sure how the strange effects of the vortex could cause plants to mutate so rapidly.
By triggering a defensive response. Countless species of fauna have evolved to develop protective mechanisms. Poisonous toxins are among the most common such adaptations.
That's true, but those adaptations evolved over generations across long spans of time. These seem to have appeared in a matter of mere days. That shouldn't be possible.
And yet, the sensors documented fluctuations in the very fabric of space and time. Who's to say what's impossible when the fundamental laws that govern our reality are altered? You've anticipated the solution perfectly. Well done. It just so happens I was working on something like that, though it was a side project. It was very experimental. Just testing a theory, really. I'd been theorizing about ways to create edible strains of local flora. It's possible I could alter the formula to neutralize the toxins in the affected species.
There is, however, a not insignificant complication.
Nothing is ever easy.
The experimental compound is locked away in cold storage at the botanical facility. I was growing strains of fungus and mushroom there for medicinal use, but we were attacked. A group of pirates called the Crimson Fleet took over the place, forcing us to leave. Pirates. Here, on Varun Kai. I could scarcely believe it. Mushrooms and fungi can be used to create a wide range of illicit recreational substances. No doubt such products can fetch a high price. I suspect the pirates seized the facility to fund their operation. Then we'll leave the matter in your capable hands. Go with the Serpent's blessing. We'll be waiting for you here. Well, look who's back. And still in one piece, no less. Gathering plants in the wild is one thing, but raiding a pirate base is wholly different. Rest assured, I will never doubt you again. Hopefully it's the correct science goop. Just a little joke. You haven't let us down yet. Here you are. Payment as promised. Did you hear that, love? Our courageous research assistant has delivered yet again.
I never had a shred of doubt. Nothing inspires courage and perseverance like the pursuit of knowledge, I always say.
That is quite literally the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Well, I certainly always think it.
Yes, dear. Of course you do. You've done more than enough as it is. We could hardly ask more of you. We'll get by on our own from here. Indeed we do. Thanks to you, we not only have the answer to our little mystery, but a path to resolving it. Here's a little something extra for a job well done. Best of luck in your future scientific endeavors.
I welcome you, fellow traveler. Have you come seeking redemption for your sins? Or has your journey brought you here for some other purpose? Nothing of the sort. I'm just an old man seeking solace in troubled times. As have we all. I assure you, I make no judgments. It's not my place to do so. Such things are between you and the Great Serpent alone. But have no fear, my friend, for the Serpent is merciful. I suspect you have yet to walk the path of redemption. There is no cause for shame. We must each choose the time that is right for us to make the journey. I would be happy to explain the custom, if you like. When I was a younger man, the answer would have been yes, and more times than I care to admit. But for now, I'm simply here to think and to pray in peaceful solitude. This place has always made me feel closer to the Great Serpent, and that is a comfort. Ah, thank you, my friend. Your kindness is a gift, for it brings me happiness to speak of the path. Spread across the land are 4 way shrines. Each offers words that describe a pillar of our society. To sin against the Great Serpent demands an act of absolution. We first come here to pray for forgiveness, and then we make a journey. We travel to each of the way shrines, reading their words and contemplating their meaning. When that is done, we return here to renew our pledge of devotion to the Great Serpent. In this way, we are redeemed. It is not, nor are the shrines themselves. The danger of the path is a part of the test, for redemption is given to the worthy, not the weak. Oh, there are sights to behold, I promise you. And who knows? You might even find more than you seek. Wisdom, perhaps if your mind is open to it.
I like a nature walk as much as the next guy, but pilgrimage? I don't know.
It is not such a long journey. Join your companion on the path, and you'll see what I mean. Indeed, the knowledge and wisdom you may gain are well worth the time.
If I do, it's because we watch each other's backs, not because I'm trying to get religion.
I give you my word. I make no such presumption. Here, you'll need this. It's my copy of the original Path of Redemption, written years ago by the honored Ranchik Dosa. It was he who first walked the path, guided by the Great Serpent. Begin reading it here, and follow the steps carefully. I shall await your return. I'm quite curious to know what you make of the experience.
You're really here. Oh, I feared what I saw. That connection we made was yet another vision. This is real, is it not? See you? Yes, of course. So much has been unclear, but here in the Citadel, I am more focused. I knew the Serpent would deliver me from this nightmare, that there must be some way out. Every time I have attempted to leave this place, I find myself lost, wandering, unable to see. There is nothing out there. Tell me, what of Dazra? The people of House Varun? I have had terrible visions, a dreadful sense of loss. I had hoped what I saw was only some terrible nightmare, but I knew it to be true. You must believe me. We meant none of this. All of the research, the calculations, we thought we could contain it. I only ever wanted to help, to improve, to elevate House Varun. You do not understand. We cannot simply leave. The chain reaction that started, it is self-sustaining. We tried everything. We had hoped we could complete the experiment, but then the vortex interlock burned out. You have one, don't you? I can feel the power from here. Then the Serpent truly has sent you to us. I wish I could guarantee your safety, but I am graced by the Serpent and have retained my faculties. So many of my people were not as fortunate. You will have no choice but to deal with them. The reactor level is below us. Bring the interlock there. We will need it if we wish to see this through. With all that has gone wrong, all we have sacrificed, I confess I had lost hope. I grew up hearing stories of my grandfather's communion with the Great Serpent, the immense responsibility he was given to create and guide House Varun. By the time I became Speaker and inherited that responsibility, so much had changed. The once proud glory of House Varun was diminished. We had lost our way, and I alone could not discern a path forward. I required the Great Serpent's guidance once more. So, I set out to find him. If the fate of your entire people was in your hands, would you do any less? Perhaps. But were that true, were he to judge me for it, I could accept that. It would have been worth it, all the same. Perhaps that judgment still awaits me, for thus far I have not seen his glory in person. I learned that my grandfather had attempted something similar. I found reassurance in that idea that he, too, sought additional instruction from the Serpent. And over time, I began to see that the Great Serpent had indeed left a path for me, hidden amongst the experimental failures and setbacks. This vortex, the place between places, and the energy it holds, could be harnessed, refined, directed. How can you not see? In reaching for him, he has shown us the way. Utilizing the vortex energy, we have learned that we can create powerful warriors, capable of teleporting vast distances in an instant. The brave volunteers in this room await the chance to be the first wave of soldiers loyal to the Great Serpent and our cause. House Varun can project force on a scale unimaginable in the history of the human race. Jinan Varun's mandate can be fulfilled. The Serpent's crusade can begin anew. Despite all that has happened, their life support system has remained stable. Just one more sign from the Great Serpent that we are following his will. And now, the glorious honor falls to you, my faithful servant. Activate the pods. Carry out the Serpent's will. And begin House Varun's triumph! Please, I have waited so long for this. Just activate the pods! What other choice do we have? The heathens and heretics loathe our very existence already. Why not be what they expect? By finishing what Jinan Barun started, we fulfill our duty to prepare the way for the Great Serpent. And none will ever again dare mock or belittle us. Peace? You think House Varun has known peace? We suffer each and every day. This will restore the balance. You yourself must have encountered the Phantoms in Maline Dam. You know how formidable yet limited their abilities were. The Varun soldiers suspended within these pods are an improvement on all of that prior work. Activate the system, and they will be suffused with vortex energy, making them nearly invulnerable, giving them almost unlimited engagement range. They will be proof that House Varun's ascent to glory has begun. None will be able to deny it. Well, surely you can see that I am unable, or else I would have done it by now. And I think it fitting that the Great Serpent has led you this far, to now allow you to be the one to restore House Varun to greatness. What have you done? You've killed them all! You think you can override the will of the Great Serpent? You pledged yourself to House Varun, but you are like all the rest. Weak of will, short of sight, a betrayer. And in the end, you have changed nothing. There will always be one more willing to serve, and once I have restored the Citadel, I will find them and send them out into the settled systems. Despite your attempts to meddle, you have nonetheless served your part in the Serpent's plan. Neither you nor the Zealots will disrupt our achievement now. The gate will cycle one more time, shifting the Citadel into the vortex. You and those bothersome Zealots trapped inside will be cast into the void forever. And I will carry on the crusade myself. There is nothing you can do to stop me. The Great Serpent cannot be defied.
Slowly. You
Wasn't
have
much
been
fun
through a
dragging you
lot.
back here, but looks like it was worth it.
I cannot believe it. The Citadel is gone. There is no sign of Anasco. You failed. You brought us no scrap of hope for the future. You must understand that seems hard to believe.
You will have to explain yourself. Where is Anasco? Why is he not here with us?
Then truly, we are lost. Without Anasco, there is no speaker. There is no way forward.
Perhaps. Or perhaps we acknowledge a simple truth. We are currently the government. We decide what happens from here.
You would dare speak of treason? Heresy!
I speak of survival.
Please, calm down, both of you.
This is not a time to be calm or sit idly by. This is a time for action. We, the three of us, are the High Council. All of House Varun looks to us for guidance. We should provide it.
Yes, Jamal is right. We would have to name a new speaker.
Malabor, you cannot possibly be considering this madness. We do not have that kind of authority. It is not within our power.
But Lovek, it can be. We can decide that right here, right now. We can carve a path forward for House Varun. Or else, we can sit by and watch all that we have built crumble around us.
And what assurance do I have that the two of you are not just looking to usurp power for yourselves?
Then we let the Vindicator decide. And we have a herald here as witness.
Then so it shall be. House Varun moves forward from this crisis and continues to serve the Great Serpent.
All must serve.
Before you adjourn, is there not one matter more to address?
I do not understand. To what do you refer?
To the matter of the Serpent's crusade, of course. The Vindicator knows of what I speak.
I don't understand. The crusade was ages ago. What does that have to do with any of this?
Explain the meaning of this at once.
After all this time, and we knew nothing of this. The council was never consulted.
To be fair, it has never been necessary for the Speaker to consult the council. It is his decision to make.
There is nothing more to discuss. If the Speaker calls for crusade, then we answer.
I can assure you all that he did indeed believe in it.
Then House Vethol agrees. The crusade begins. What does House Dulkef say?
I have no wish to defy the Speaker, but he is no longer here. The Varun people need time. House Dulkef declines.
No, I should have expected as much. And what does House Kadik say?
Both of my colleagues have made valid points. The matter is complicated. I believe that for the moment, House Kadik abstains.
So, one vote for, one against. And what about you? Should we take up the sword and fight for House Varun, or continue to cower here and pity ourselves?
I hate to butt in, but, this isn't even a question, right? You can't possibly be considering this.
So be it.
And with all of this out of the way, we will take our leave. You have been through a great deal and deserve a chance to rest. The home, of course, is yours. You deserve a place among us after everything. Know that House Varun is eternally grateful for all that you have done, and that the Great Serpent will one day grant you a place by his side.
The very sight of you offends me. I wish only to be rid of you. A fine question after I trusted you with vital information about our family and asked you to spare my nephew. I should have put the same question to you myself. What could you... Serpent, give me strength. My heart beats with anticipation, and yet I fear to ask. Great Serpent. Where is he? I must see him. It is as I feared. I always knew that Victor would drive him away. Varric often spoke to me of his own dreams and aspirations. And they never did include house politics. I think even Victor knew he was unhappy. But his pride only allowed him to see a boy that would follow in his footsteps. And the truth will stay with me, and me alone. As much as I want to see his face, it is enough to know that Varric is alive and safe. You have brought me peace.
Thank you, Vindicator.
Vindicator, it's good to see you again. Perhaps the Great Serpent has blessed us with the second meeting to make up for the first one. A hostage situation is hardly the place to make a good first impression. And it's nice to meet you too. Now we can talk about the important stuff, like your favorite food. Mine is ice cream. Anyway, while it's good to take a breath and relax, I do like a good adventure. In fact, I have to admit, I'm a little envious of your situation. I'm stuck here in the house while you are traveling the stars, discovering new orbits, and building a bridge for the promised. Dazra is my home, yes, but I carry it with me. I couldn't be rid of it if I wanted to. As for family, well, I don't have anyone at House Kadik that would miss me much. I was hoping you'd say that. I promise you, you won't regret it. I don't want to brag, but I'm proficient at just about everything. Of course! Jinan Varun was a traveler, like yourself. He is proof that through exploration, we find our purpose. Oh, don't you dare. Don't doubt me like everyone else in my life. Because I know you're different. Yes, I don't look like a soldier. I barely pass for an adult. But I can hold my own. Great! And so you know, I'm not just any crew member. I have a lot of practical skills, and I soak up knowledge like a sponge. The Great Serpent has blessed us both with gifts. If we work together, I know we can help each other grow them. Ever since I can remember, math and science came easy to me. And as any herald will tell you, innate abilities like that are a gift from the Great Serpent. They're signposts, a map for the promise so that we may find the best way to serve his will. Not a lot of people know this, but I'm an expert with a sniper rifle. It's not so different from using a telescope. I've also studied ship reactor and EM weapon tech. I even developed a prototype for Varun hymns that's currently in production. All my research is now public, and the dangers of the morning device are known. To put it another way, the milk has been spilled. They don't need me to remind them to use a glass. And the coaster. You really should use both. Oh, thank you. I can't wait to start tinkering with your ship. We'll have to measure the progress in phantometers. But first, stupid question, but do you happen to know where my assignment is?
Welcome back, traveler. Tell me, how was your journey? Wise words, my friend. No artifice of man can match the beauty of that which the Great Serpent has made. If you're willing to indulge the curiosity of a stranger, I have a few questions. What did you think of the words of devotion? Did you agree with them? Or did you have a different perspective? I think that is true to some extent. Though not all who desire devotion are of ill intent. Sometimes the longing for devotion stems from vanity, or a desire to be loved. If an old man can trust his intuition, then I sense that you're an independent soul. I think I can guess your answer, but I'll ask all the same. How did you feel about the words of obedience? Indeed. Just as the Great Serpent has a tail that follows the head, so we lead and we follow. It is the way of things, the natural order. I'm sure we can both agree that nothing truly worthwhile is accomplished without perseverance. Did those words ring true for you? I find that to be true as well. I'm reminded of my grandfather. He was a painter. His brush brought to life the most beautiful landscapes. As a child, I was fascinated by them, When I asked how he did it, he explained that it was not talent, but constant practice. You see, he was not born with great artistic gifts, but he made up for that with practice. That brings us to strength, and words that harken back to an older way of thinking. These words have the greatest appeal to the young and adventurous. Who does not wish to be strong? Many of us, however, see them as an uncomfortable reminder of a more violent time. As a result, there are many who question the value of the words of strength when compared to the rest. After all, is not strength the most likely to diminish with the passage of time? My friend, you have true wisdom. In truth, I posed my question the way I did to test you. Too many of our people see strength only in terms of might and skill in battle. It's not hard to see why. As written, the words suggest that very thing. But with time, we learn that true strength comes not from weapons, but from within. Well, you've been a patient listener, and I'll take up no more of your time. It's customary for one who completes the path of redemption to be given small gifts by friends and family. I don't have much to offer, but I would not see you leave empty-handed. Please, accept this. I thank you for your time and your insights. It has been a most interesting conversation.